On this episode, we asked the question, how old is too old?
And then the conversation just gets wild.
She too young. She too young, my baby. It's your boy Kick Scar. We back in the fucking building.
My name is Ramon,
Boy, Snow.
and I'm here to talk the most shit.
Nasty. Snow nasty.
I'm just saying.
You said what? You want to talk to...
I'm here to talk the most shit ever.
Listen, man.
In the most incoherent,
So we need alcohol.
but I mask it as if it makes sense. You had a question earlier.
Oh, my question.
Something
that
about
question?
something about
Ooh. My question. Listen, so I was pondering, not pandering.
mhm.
I was pondering some things, and a lot of times, particularly in my drive home, there is nothing like a drive home from work in bumper to bumper traffic for an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh,
Sure.
there is something better than that. That's called riding the iron horse. I would refuse to be caught in that madness.
Yeah. But while in this drive, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, and what I do is I guess it's healthy to do this. I take myself away from reality, whatever my reality is, and I pretend that I am someone else or at another time in my life.
Okay.
And however, I am the age that I am. I have all of my understanding.
You're pretty
all of
old.
my rationale. Yeah, I'm pretty old.
Mhm.
I'm pretty old now. A lot of gray on my face. But I try to look at things from the outside,
Okay.
as we all should, but you know.
I think that's a healthy thing to do in general.
Yeah, just to keep oneself grounded in understanding the elements that life has to offer, to not offer, and just they're available. Whatever.
Okay.
With that said, how young is too young? Now, I'm more than certain
Wait,
that
what?
how young is too young? Now,
No, I need the context of this. Like,
yes, no, I'm going to get to that.
Okay, because I'm looking for something else, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Is Chris
yeah.
Hansen about to come in this here?
It's just the question that you inquired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tawann, did you know how old? Tawann, no, sir, hang on.
No,
did you know?
So how young is too young? Listen, we all have barbershop talk, and this is barbershop talk here.
Except I ain't got no hair.
101. Yeah, you ain't got no hair.
No, sorry.
I got a little bit of hair, but it's under the do-rag. So
Sorry.
how young is too young? Now, we understand it's nasty for a person my age to be looking at a person below the age. Like, we're not even talking about below the age.
You can't be mysterious with your numbers here. You got to reveal your age.
I need numbers.
Okay, all right.
Because there's a lot of weirdness going on.
Listen,
I need numbers. How old are you?
Okay.
60 what?
Sir, I am 40. I am 43.
That's a respectable age.
All right, so I am 43.
Okay.
The original number of BET in New York City.
Yeah, 43. Is it?
That was the channel. Wasn't it 43?
I don't remember.
There's a video that I'm pretty sure it'll let me know. All right, anyway, go ahead.
All right, an adult should not be looking at an adolescent first and foremost.
I think that's my baseline argument that I'm zeroing in on, but go ahead.
All right, an adult should not be looking at
Got you.
a child.
Got you.
So we're not talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about you are of age.
Everybody's of age.
Everybody is of age.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, see, now that's what I'm trying to figure out.
All right.
We could have got there a little sooner, fam.
Please.
We could have got there a lot sooner, fam.
Please don't get this shit canceled before it even grows legs.
I mean, I was coming for it in the other direction because I
Yeah.
feel like motherfuckers don't really have a strong leg to stand on with that
You got that
of
right.
age shit. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
for sure.
Not when we watching Game of Thrones and all these bitches are like 12 years old.
Yeah, but that's another that's
But
another
go ahead.
that's another argument
Yeah.
that ties into religion, and I don't think this is the time nor the place.
Okay. Proceed, sir.
However, I'm talking 21, and I'm saying 21 loosely.
So 21 and up.
21 and
Of
up.
legal age.
Of
21
legal
and up.
drinking age.
21
Okay.
and up.
Okay.
Of legal drinking
And I
age.
could even attack that. Because a motherfucker can go shoot somebody, but you can't tell me they can't drink. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
21
But
and
we'll
up.
take 21.
21 and up.
Okay.
All right. I am 43. You are 38.
Hang the fuck on, sir.
You're 39.
Hang the fuck on,
No,
sir.
you're like 40. You're 40.
I am
now.
as strong a 31 as it gets. I'm 36.
Son, I feel like you're lying with that.
I'm
number,
36,
son.
B.
He's 36. He's 36.
Son, I feel like you've been 36 for about 6 years, son.
So he's 36. I am too. We
All right,
graduated
so-
together.
Right. Okay.
Fucking 31.
So I don't know how I got into the mixiness of with these two, being the older fucking guy.
We're fucking
You got a
dope when
young
we were
soul.
young. Nah,
You
we
got a
Yo,
young soul.
Nah, we were savages, fam.
Yeah, we were. I was. I know. But so for y'all, see, I have to attack that from a different perspective or a different angle.
I think it's still a relevant question.
Yes, it's still a relevant question, but people's perception of how young is too young in the dating world when referring to a 30-year-old, and how young is too young when referring to a 40-year-old is different.
And it should not be.
What about a 50-year-old?
Even more so.
Even more so, I see his point, because then you start to beat up that question, that you start to come on that perspective of, oh, she's just here for the money, or he's just here for the money, on the younger side of that spectrum.
And
there's no way, there's 2 generations between them. There's no way they can connect.
Listen, and we're going to dig in, if time permits, we're going to dig into this whole idea, because when a 40 plus year old looks at a 24-year-old,
Sure,
he's nasty.
I disagree.
But they're both legal.
But I've heard what you're saying echoed. Yes,
right.
I disagree with that too.
I disagree with it, but I can argue both points.
I think the baseline we should put forth here is that people are fucking stupid. And why I don't get dragged into a lot of these conversations outside of this setting. And this setting, I don't mean this podcast, I mean with you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Is because people, I feel your concept only works if it's applicable for A to B to C.
Okay.
Right? People say stupid shit. Oh, no, that's nasty. But then they go out here and do something else.
Right.
Like, fam, that's an older man shouldn't be doing this, but then an older man could do that. And I've seen so much of these things that's kind of like, well, fam, what are you even telling me? How old was Mary when Jesus raped her? Like, how old was fucking Ariel, the princess? Like, how old was Arya in Game of Thrones? Like, don't tell me it's nasty when you support it in pop culture.
And that is one aspect of this argument. Like, again, when I say I can argue both points, I can argue that, no, wait. Listen, when you turn 21 or you turn 22 or 23 or 25,
sure,
how it reads is, well, I was still an adult at a time when you were a child. However, you are no longer a child. You are an adult working potentially my job, getting the same pay that I get. Sure. It just so happens that there's an age gap.
Sure.
However, how am I to approach? Again, this is me looking outside. This is not me pandering. This is me pondering. How would I approach speaking to a 24, 25-year-old, 22, 21-year-old at 43 without it looking nasty?
he's stewing right now.
He's
stewing right now.
He's brewing a beer.
I think it's important to remove the context of nasty.
But that's tough, son.
Here's why I'm going to say that.
Go ahead.
Don't prejudge anything that I'm doing. And I'm owning the question now, right? Like, I'm assuming it's me in this situation.
Right.
Fam, I know what I want.
By the way, for our listeners, they're both married, so please don't be out here trying to like make. Don't try to make hot takes.
Ain't no smoke.
Cancel us. The only smoke
I
is
ain't worried
this
about
vapor.
the cancel, just no smoke.
I don't want no smoke.
No
now,
smoke.
The thing is, I know I'm not being nasty. I don't even know what the fuck nasty means, because
contextually.
No, I get what I understand what you're saying, but your nasty is different from my nasty.
Right.
I feel like religious black people's nasty, because how much more can your God put you through? And that's a wildly offensive statement to a lot of people. Right. So like, I don't push your shit on me. And if I'm in a place where, first of all, as a person, I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be. My experiences are gonna lead me to this bar, this arcade, this basketball game. Wherever I am is where I am.
Right.
And if I'm in a space where I'm single and I'm looking for people, whoever's attractive to me is attractive. If I'm 36 now and I see someone that's 21 that's attractive, she's attractive. If I see someone that's 45 and she's attractive, she's attractive. It doesn't, in that context, attractive is also a whole nother conversation. Are we in a classroom because I'm taking night classes and there's a 21-year-old that gave some wildly profound answer to the simplest question? Yo, that's attractive.
Right. She's
obviously wise beyond her years. I would love to have a conversation with her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Am I at a ball game where behind me is a 51-year-old woman talking about her experiences in the business world? Right. Holy shit, that's attractive. She's a seasoned professional. I would love to talk to her.
Okay, so all right, we're going to move this goal line.
Mm-hmm.
Past she visually or perceptionally is attractive to B, I want in her pants right now.
I think so. You're all right, and this is the default where people take this conversation. I think this question is offensive to me because when I was 21, I felt like I was wise beyond my years.
Right. I agree.
And how be it for me to turn around and then say to someone, because you're 21, you can't have a pound for pound conversation with me.
And
because for me, attractive doesn't mean 21, because I can find a 26-year-old with the same body, arguably a more developed body,
36-year-old,
and knows what she's doing in life. So I don't gotta go buy her the new Reeboks. Right. But it's not about that. It's attractive is attractive, and if she happens to be 21 and she can hold a decent conversation, why the fuck not?
Okay, so now I'm going to play. I don't know which one would be the devil, but somebody's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use my age. You're fucking 43.
Okay.
When she's 25. When you were 35, she was 15.
None of that matters.
Right. It doesn't matter now.
Mm-hmm.
But it matters. And this is being understanding to people who are pro this point. You shouldn't be looking at someone's 25-year-old daughter. Like, and these are real arguments.
Somebody's 35-year-old daughter.
Listen, I get it.
These people are problematic to themselves.
I agree.
And the general population, because these are the people who don't see persons for who they are in front of them right fucking now. I don't care what this person was doing when I was doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I care about how I came across you, and what we're doing right now,
and
how we can build for the future.
There are people Like there are people in this world. There are 25-year-olds that would feel like I'm too old for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are 25-year-olds that would feel like, all right, no, I would date him, or I would whatever.
Sure.
And now the conversation, let's say I'm in the world of, I'm not married and I'm not involved with anyone. So now here I am, 43, and my target female is a 25-year-old.
That's what I want to adjust. You shouldn't have a target.
Right.
You should have someone that A, can do and enjoy the things you do, and B, you enjoy the things they do. So if you're going to date a 21-year-old,
right,
be ready to get your ass up and go to the club. Right?
Yeah.
And for that 21-year-old, today's Sunday, sit your ass down, we watching his Matlock. You see my point there?
Right.
And the same applies to a 26-year-old.
Well, 21 today probably won't do that brunch thing.
No, they want to do brunch. They want to do brunch on Molly.
Sunday brunch.
Whatever. So to me, the age number is so fucking irrelevant because you can't. So I can tell you for a fact, Snow at 15 was an adult.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't ever discredit that.
Right.
And
for someone to feel like he doesn't know what he's saying or what he wants at 15, you get punched in your face.
Fam, and without, name dropping or anything like that, like someone could have gotten in trouble with me at 15.
Right.
Like, or multiple women could have gotten in trouble with me. Like, if the world was fair, like, yo, what are you doing talking to that 15-year-old boy? Like, what are you doing?
I get it. I feel you got a point, Snow?
Man, because this thing,
because you want, yeah, because
this thing's been on my mind probably since I was 5 years old.
Okay, carry on.
Because I'm a people. I explained this to you earlier. Like, I watch people,
right?
And because I want to understand, and I want to know what's could be my life, or could be a thing that I may have to deal with when I get to this person's age, or till I get to this person's status, or till I get to this person's crossroad in life, right? Because I can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I would see people, and let's just be clear about this. Older guy, young woman. Most times you see that together and they don't look like each other, that's his sugar mama. I mean, he's the sugar daddy, whatever. Or he's the older dude with the money who's established.
Yeah, he's a
and
sugar
this girl
daddy,
this woman may have daddy issues, so she always look up to an older, whatever that case may be, right?
Right.
There's many other facets, but I just want to say that for sake of shock, right? And then if you see the older woman with the younger dude, you never, at one point in time, you never questioned that.
Right. She's the MILF.
No. That wasn't even a question.
Right.
That wasn't even a question. That could have just been a business. That could have just been lunch. That could have just been, they're going, like, no one questioned that until like the late 90s, 2000s, where I became like,
it was the plot of a lot of movies.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, movies help move that forward to the point to where cougar culture is like a real thing today, and they're actually taking back this power, right? So I happen to be related to a situation where someone that is my grandfather's age is dating and then married someone that's my mom's age, which is his daughter.
Right.
Now, of course, everybody here is over both indicators. I think the other one's over 25 when that happened and all that, right? But like, there's a huge difference in what they experience in life, both as a man and as a woman, and then just the generation differences, right?
Right.
So I was to try to connect myself, well, what was the gain here? Because I couldn't understand it. What was the gain? Like, what did he come down for that she went up for? Because she was a successful woman. She didn't need a man, and I'm not saying that I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. Like, no.
It just wasn't a sugar daddy
It just
type
wasn't,
of thing.
And it wasn't that Little House on the Prairie syndrome, or that like, yo, I gotta I gotta sit here and pop out babies and watch Oprah and eat bonbons. Her life is nowhere like that. This is International Women's Month. She could very easily been celebrated today.
Right.
For what she was doing back then. So what was the game? So I tried to figure this out because everything else around the world was saying like, no, this is what it has to be. So I never understood it.
Right.
Fast forward, I get older, little older. I start attracting people to me that speak to me when I ask no questions, and they tell me things and they forward stuff to me. I'm a young kid.
Right.
I'm not even 13 yet, and people would tell me things all the time. And I would see it, and I'm just like, well, she makes more money than him. She emasculates him. She's also older, which is why she makes more money than him. So what's going on here? Because now women are in the workforce and women's kicking ass. Then I see the guy calling all the shots because he's about 6 or 7, 8 years older. So what was is it a trade up? Did they happen? What was the common denominator? Then we get into the scumbag thing where you put me at 15, right? Where you got dudes that's 24 hollering at our chicks, right?
Outside our school.
Right.
Our school, right?
That was a real thing in
Sure
the
is.
90s and early 90s.
I wonder if it's still a real thing.
It's still a real thing.
It's still a real thing.
Still a real thing. So I'm thinking like, okay, and the thing that makes me mad, I get mad twice. Yes, girl. Yes, young girl. Little girl. Of course, this dude out here is more mature. You know why? Because you're not putting him under the same scrutiny that we got to go through.
Sure.
He's supposedly has it. He supposedly has his own place, which is not true. And he supposedly has a job, which is kind of sort of true. Yeah, he can do all those things.
Not.
Yeah, and he can get you in the places that we cannot. Yes, he can pick you up in the car because I'm not legally able to drive.
Right.
Right? Okay, cool. But you think he's mature than me? Because the fact that he talks to you proves that he is not.
Right.
Okay, so it's a maturity thing. Now let's take, what was that, 15? Bump me up to 25. So is that woman at 25 looking for that 34-year-old? What's the situation there? Like, is that still frowned upon? Now, when I was young, I tried to go, and it was scale, right? At one point, I would date 1 year older, 1 year younger. When I got to 18, I didn't date no one younger than me because I was at 18, and you know how they do us in the system.
Right.
I had a girlfriend that for about let me see, 4 months we were the same age. For about 4 months we were the same age. Now luckily we already been through the ringer with Mom Dukes, and that was not a situation, but in the back of my head I'm thinking like, yo, what's gonna happen?
Right.
What happens if Mom flips the coin on me? You know?
Right.
Going forward, I became single, go to college and everything, and I'm like, okay, what's the bar? So I did 2 up, 1 down.
Okay.
Every year I went up, I would do 2 down and then 2 up. Then of course I was in a relationship for a long time, and now I'm back out here in these streets. Not really, but like, it's like, well,
where do you go?
Where do I go now? Like, I'm 36. What's the bar? And not the bar high. What's the bar low? And I told it, actually, it's funny, this is a story, because I told him earlier about like, when I was 31 or 33 at the time, I think it was probably 32. It might have been 32. 31, 32. There was a woman, 28. She, for whatever reason, that number 28 hit me. She just hit that number. I would not been willing to talk to her if she was younger than 28, right? And it became like, or more so like a mentality thing, not maturity, but like, where you at in life, what you looking for, what you trying to get to.
Right.
I think that's important.
Right.
Not to define that as maturity, but where are you in your experiences?
Right. Where are you in your experiences? What are you, did you take enough bumps in the road to like, be like, okay, well, I've had my experience up to this point, because I was looking for long term.
Right.
So I don't want someone who's saying that they looking for long term, but then doing all this
sure
breaking stuff, right? And then while with that person, I'm realizing like, well, 28, and I don't want to say with like we were together, but talking to this person, I realized that, well, that limiter at 28 don't matter because one of my homegirls is 24. She has a better limiter on her than this one at 28 that I'm talking about. Going around the maturity thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm 36-ish.
Mm-hmm.
This is years later. I don't want no smoke with nobody right now, but how high do I go? How low do I go? And for some reason, I refuse to go lower than 28 or lower than 25. And it has nothing to do with the whole it being nasty, whatever that means to whoever hears that, right? But sometimes I catch myself like when I've been out, and you could tell this is that upper college crowd or just graduated crowd,
right,
or that young professional 25-year-olds and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, is this number good for me right here? And
it could be.
But like right now, I'm still dancing like, would that be a good number for me? And I'm not looking down, but it's in my face. I'm looking to be somewhere within my range or higher. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, would I be, and I've had this question with myself, would I be nasty showing up with a 23-year-old at my age?
All right. I want to focus on that. Would it be nasty to be observed with a 23, 21, 25? Like, hold on. So when I say that, and this is taken into account all aspects, visually, mentally, sociologically, because I think that plays a huge part. How a 23-year-old, 24, 25-year-old interacts in society may differ vastly from how a 45, 43, 40-year-old interacts in society.
Sure.
And now, what this younger person means to the older person will determine the younger person's longevity, if I may, with that older gentleman or older woman. And it can either be Chinese food and fucking, or trips to Paris and linguine.
Sure.
I mean,
And so a younger person, I would assume that it would be based on the younger person's development, or
that's it right there.
the older person's underdevelopment.
So can I jump in?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it's important to understand that remove the ambiguity here.
Yes.
And the number is the ambiguity.
Whoever you show up with
Right.
Is what it is.
Right.
I have a high level of trust in who you show up with.
Right.
Who Snow shows up with, I have a high level of trust. It doesn't matter the age.
Right.
So when you show up with someone, I know they would have already been vetted based on a connection that you are looking for, a person that can relate to the experiences that you've gone through, the experiences that you're currently going through, and the experiences that you're looking to go through.
Right.
Right? That is not tied to an age.
Right.
And this is the same conversation of, I am not my here.
Right.
Right? Women struggle to fam, I'm more than my here.
Right.
I'm more than my physical ability, with my physical appearances.
Absolutely.
And that concept needs to be copied and pasted onto you are not your age.
Right.
Whatever you go through is what molds you at that point.
Right.
And that's where the connection can be formed. I don't care what age you are. However, if you show up and you're a fuckboy, I know you to be Playboy man.
Yeah.
You're 43 years old, a serial singleist, still on Tinder.
Bill Bellamy,
Whoever you show up
how
with,
to be a player.
no matter what age, I'm not taking them seriously because I know tomorrow is going to be somebody else. Now, if you show up with a 21-year-old
and you're
fam,
40.
don't do that.
Right.
Because just 21-year-olds.
Because you're nasty now. Yes.
I wouldn't say nasty, but like you could find someone that's a little older to where these games not going to damage them and throw off their trajectory and their development.
Right.
But I'm also acknowledging that there's another side of that. There's a thing to men that want a woman they can mold, and oftentimes that looks like a younger woman than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against that, because every woman in the world has been accused of what?
Molding.
Behind the scene with their friends, I can't change them. Every fucking woman tries to change a man. So I never understood the argument of a man trying to mold a 21 and older, let an older dude mold her.
Right.
Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. And if that's
let another dude mold or something like that. Yeah.
If the young person is up for the molding, because they're just like, let me see where this goes, then it's all good.
But you know what the argument steps. So feminists will say, and I gotta.
Oh my God.
A feminist would say, a man molding is a man controlling.
And a feminist would also never admit that the older they get, the more in love with a man they become.
Yeah.
Because you can't fight that fight. Fam, there's a very small subset of truly fucked up fuckboys out here. There's a very small subset of the Harvey Weinstein shit.
Yeah.
We're not all out here to do this to women. And I feel like, stop punishing us for the fucking, for the 1 or 2%. Like, I get it. Fight that fight, but don't bring that shit over here.
But it's right now, I feel like it's a slippery slope.
It can go. I'm with you. Your opening sentiments. I fully understand both sides of it. But if you showed up, it'll never be a conversation because I know you.
Right. But you know what? Yeah, between us, it's not a conversation.
Right. So I'm not worried about what somebody else outside says. He showed up with it. Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, get away from me.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get away from me. Leave. Get out.
And I understand all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that somebody will question my morality and say, yo, how the fuck old is he?
Yeah.
Did he just show up? And like that has always been the question. Remember the 90s, the 90s black movies where homeboy stopped messing with he's late 30s, early 40s, whatever. He divorced his wife that was round about his age. Now he's messing with the girlfriend that's half his age,
MLC.
or what have you. It has always been perpetuated as nasty.
That's wild. That's ignorance.
And And then Stella got her groove back though.
Yeah,
right.
But that's okay.
Right.
Stella got her groove back is waiting to exhale. These are breaths of fresh air.
The same woman, by the way, the same legendary woman in
for sure.
Movies, Angela Bassett, who's 60 and motherfucking sexy. Angela Bassett. I've always fucking loved you. You keep doing your thing. You don't know how much pressure you put on these younger chicks to be like you.
For sure.
Keep putting that pressure on them.
Oh, for sure. But it's a real thing. And when I hear like the term cancel culture, that is the arc umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the runners of that narrative and that flag speaking down to people who may involve themselves in these situations.
Sure.
The older man to the younger woman.
Sure.
And seldom is it questioned. Like who there was an older woman, I cannot remember the person's name. I shouldn't even brought it up, but there was an older woman, just to throw it out there, that was involved with a younger man.
I don't know any queen ever in the fucking monarchy of England.
Yeah, really. And it wasn't. It was a topic, but it wasn't a question.
It would not be.
But
We got to hold our licks here.
Yeah,
This is a beat down that men will have to
have,
and it's okay talking about that topic of feminism because they hold their fair share of licks. So I'm okay that this is a conversation we got to have.
I'm not okay with it. I'm sorry.
I get why you wouldn't, but there's power in knowing one's self. Because outside of this conversation, how many if you paid attention, I'm sure you have.
Right.
There are so many things you'll have to defend yourself against because some cunt rag just walked in the room and made an overall general fucking statement about who you are or what you're doing.
Yeah, well, don't do it with me. I'm going to read your life.
Yeah.
And my wife accuses me, like, son, when I hear people do shit like that, son, I come with the thunder. And you know what happens after? People go, damn, you ain't have to do that. Fuck you mean I didn't have to do that, fam? Like somebody just literally challenged my moral fiber without knowing anything about me.
Right.
Yeah. That's been my whole thing with this too. I didn't get into that part. It's like the older I got, the more I was like, from the eye test, it doesn't matter because the midlife crisis thing happens in both directions, right? Male or female, right? With how people talk to me, grown adults was talking to me when I was 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. Still to this day, people who are in their 60s, 70s, what they come to me with and asking me with, automatically, it's just like a testament of like, well, yeah, this is how a 50-year-old ends up with a 25-year-old. And some of it happens to deal with security too, right?
Right.
I subscribe to the thing that if you're looking for loyalty, if you're looking for security, if you're looking for stability, you're not looking for love, right?
Yep.
If you're looking for those three things, you're not looking for love because love gives you that without question, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So already, if you're looking for something that speaks to your heart, and you go with the cars, right? Yo, I'm looking to buy a car. What car you want? I don't know. I know it when I see it.
Right.
I have no brand loyalty to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You go to this lot. These are dope. These are dope. Not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
I go here. You know what? This was fire, but I don't think I can handle that kind of power. It's too much for me.
Right.
You go to this thing, and it's like, yo, this is just perfect. And then society goes, fam, that's a Kia.
That's a bitch car.
Yeah.
I don't care. This is where I didn't come here to stunt. I have the money for the biggest, baddest car in the world that you tell me, and I can maintain it. But this is where my heart spoke to.
Right.
Everything that comes with that car came out of my love for that car. I don't care what it was. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what society say.
Yeah.
Is the car legal to be on the road?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's legal. That's it. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And then you go
That's
with
a
that.
great analogy, by the way. Is the car legal to be on the road? If the car is legal to be on the road and it speaks to you, then what's the problem?
We out of
here.
Yeah.
You know? And it didn't take me that long to get there in life. But like I said, I seen that example young in my life.
Yeah.
When everybody was telling me like women marry up. It's a transaction. And it still happens to this day. But I tell you what also happens to this day. I don't really see it that much. I might see a 5-year-old difference. I may see an 8-year-old difference, but I don't see too many 20-year-old difference.
Yeah, no.
I don't see too many of that.
It's definitely by a couple of years, maybe.
And you know why I think we don't see too much of that today? It's because of how we've grown up in society today.
Yep. The stigmas.
The you marrying for a dowry no longer really exists in the states of America. I don't want to put these other people out there like that. There are still some arranged marriages or whatever,
right.
but like here,
it's a very widely practiced thing
out right
outside.
But like here, there's a lot of freedom of movement here. In the NBA, players got freedom of movement. We have freedom of movement. We talk about this all the time.
Hang on a second. Let me just add
There's
a
no
small
bad
note.
Phones. Okay.
Small note to that. There's a perceived freedom.
Okay. All right.
Because parents often weigh very heavy in their kids.
But your parents
that psychological game they play of who they can and can't marry.
And
religion in there as well.
And you know our generation specifically are the most rebellious.
Sure. By and large, we and the generations after us don't.
We're not rebellious like how our parents were. We're rebellious in a different way, which is why every corporate person hates us right now, and they don't understand. And the thing is, they understand. They do understand. They just mad about it. Son, y'all are wrong. Y'all been wrong.
Yeah.
And this goes in our relationships. Why do you think gay marriage is legal? Like that. Like people were getting hung for a color and for their orientation in these United States of America.
Right.
The only thing that was cool was two women can kiss. And that can happen on TV and it can happen on film, but let two dudes do it. That's a problem. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
so
that's
now,
another.
So not only we
may address that.
Not only I'm trying to get to that thing. Like not only were we like, yo, that's wrong because how can they do it and they can't do it? Well, how come this black guy got hung up for trying to enjoy this woman who happens to be white, but then it's okay for that white guy and that Asian woman? How is that when we know the history of that white man and the people of this actually Japanese woman? Like, how is that okay? Son, we question all that. We stopping all that. We don't care. Yo, that person equal, this person equal.
That's my point.
The stuff that's above it might still be a problem, but where the energy that goes, fam, these people got to die soon.
That copy and paste does not exist.
It some of it makes it to us, but for the most part, we ain't with it, fam. We ain't with it.
I'm not fucking with it.
So we blur a lot of lines. In some cases, I feel like it's a problem, but in cases like this, son, we good. You arrest the scumbags. You go at the scumbags that are being scumbags. Everybody else is flow.
I think the interesting thing is when Tawann mentioned feminists. People who would even say that it's nasty thing are innately feminist. I'm sorry, no. What's the counter argument for feminism?
Having a penis.
What is there even a word for when you just don't like feminists? When you're anti-women,
they call you anti.
They call you a man,
anti-woman.
Right? They call you a man.
Yeah, you're a man.
They call you anti-woman.
So women who do this man shit, let me say it that way.
Yeah. Mansplaining.
They're contributing to that, right? I'm sorry. You mean to tell me that the woman that's involved in this is just brainless? She's a fucking captor,
right?
She's just sitting here with a hand over her vagina, like no. You don't think that she's smart enough to understand where, I don't know, she raised 5 fucking brothers and sisters.
Right.
And she put them all through school and she missed school herself and she knows how to cook and clean. She just wants someone where...
Her great sacrifice.
She just wants someone that's going to hold her down, a home to call her own, and to know that she's going to be okay for the rest of her days. She ain't going to get that from a 22-year-old.
Right.
Right.
How dare you tell her she can't go get it from a 45-year-old? Because she knows that she doesn't want to be out at brunch popping mollies. She wants to be home, taking care of whomever she's taking care of, who she sees as her family, and that's the end of that.
And who says she don't have a better grasp on love than the other person?
Exactly. So that whole this conversation often parallels into like religion and a ton of things that black people. Older black folk hold on to, both men and women, and it's fucking annoying. Like, yo, you motherfuckers are wild ignorant.
Wow. Yes. Agreed.
And they don't see it that way. They don't. And when you come to the racism shit, they're still wild. They're just as racist as they accuse everyone of. Like, fam, racism goes both ways.
Prejudice goes both ways.
Prejudice goes both ways. Yes.
Prejudice, racist is obviously one race against another. But prejudice, when you look at black people don't believe that they're prejudiced to black people. Black people don't believe that they have problems with issues that people of their same race have. Like, it's prejudice has no color lines. Racism does. Racism is, no, I got a problem with you. Indian. I got a problem with you. Chinese. I got a problem with you. Jewish. I got a problem with you. Black. prejudice. No, man. I don't want you, black man from the hood, in my home.
Yeah. I don't want to dig into this shit.
And I'm not right.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
But I grew up in a suburb. But there's one other thing too I wanted to add to that, right?
Right.
Which is the like people looking in, because you mentioned parents, right? And that's the peer pressure still, right? Because that's society, that's people, that's someone speaking on something. They just happen to have a closer respect to you because that's your parent. Now, I always felt like this. Whenever I heard the nasty comments, it came from a place of hate.
Toxicity.
Right. Toxic.
It came from a place of hate. Like, fam.
Absolutely.
When I'm on a train, and I'm going to take this shot. When I'm on a train, this is Lifetime. I see a woman look at another woman and like make a face.
Oh, my wife talks about that all the time.
And to me, it's like, yo, and she's not what we call slutty or asking for a dress. No, she's dressed very beautifully, classically.
Very tasteful.
It's not no one can get offended by how this woman is dressed, except for a hater.
Yep.
You have the same opportunity to put that on today.
Yep.
Or you could be inspired and put it on tomorrow.
Right.
Why do you got to be nasty about that? That's hate. That's jealousy. You're not happy with yourself.
Yeah.
I see dudes all the time look at other dudes and go, and then they go back to their phone or what they was doing.
Like,
they'll see some.
You see, they're like,
okay,
I see you, fam.
You see the
I see you, fam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see the car, you be like,
that's not that is not a chick thing. That is not a chick trick.
I've gotten compliments way more times from dudes than I do from women.
Oh yeah. Oh,
without the gay card.
No. For sure. For sure.
I got to make that clear because I know sometimes people see me and I'm like, well, gay dudes compliment you. This is a thing.
Really?
This is a thing.
Right?
Gay
people have complimented me too. Right. I'm not afraid of a gay compliment.
We're not.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't put that out there.
For sure.
What I'm saying
only
is,
gay dudes give compliments? Who the fuck thinks that?
No. People don't think that.
Out there,
but listen, but just to touch, I don't mean to stop you, Snow. As the norm in our circles,
right.
Whether at work or at home, our conversation is among straight people. There are straight people that don't understand it's not an issue for a gay man to give a straight man a compliment.
To give any man a compliment.
To give any man a compliment.
So put it like this. Here's the joke. You show up somewhere with your girl, and you see a dude that in your mind triggers in your mind like he's that dude, right?
Yeah.
This other guy or her ex-boyfriend or someone who you happen to know she got a crush. Let's say a celebrity that she got a crush on, and it goes, "There go your boy."
Yeah.
Like you don't want to acknowledge the rawness of it, so you gotta say something like, "Yo, there go your boy."
Yeah.
You can't give that man a compliment.
That's fucking hilarious.
Your ego and what society has told you won't let you give that man a compliment.
That fucking sucks.
Right? But people don't understand that men compliment men all the time. Like I hear women say, and I never hear a man tell another woman to smile. I will acknowledge this. Most times when women are being told to smile, it's an encouraging thing. Not the other part with the harassment.
Right.
Right? Not the other part with the harassment. You know how men tell other men to smile? Because men can look at another man and tell that he's going through it.
Yeah.
We look at him and we give him a nod. We look him in his
eyes.
Like,
yo, I understand.
We give him a nod. We look him in his eyes. We give him a nod. And he takes that power and he goes somewhere with it. Right. It's not a word being spoken.
Right.
A lot of times it could just be that nod. It could be the heart to the hand to the
fist
heart.
to the heart, hand to the heart.
And that's what it is. It's an acknowledgement because we're not about the words.
Right. But I don't mean to have this conversation change over.
This is the episode.
Yeah.
I will say when I first noticed it was a Beyonce song. I think it was Lemonade when they had the writer, they had the African poet. She was talking about how women are socialized to be competitors with each other.
Yeah, that was Flawless, and that was the African woman from Flawless.
Okay, and I had said something to my wife, and she's a psychotherapist, and she was like, "Absolutely,
yeah,
it's a problem." And I've since start. When you first run up on something brand new, you start to see it and hear it everywhere, right?
Yeah. Right.
I had since started to hear like feminist conversations echoing this same thing. There's no sisterhood.
No, it's not.
It doesn't exist.
There's
so many
illusion.
women out there that just don't have female friends.
There's an illusion.
They don't get along.
There's an illusion of sisterhood.
Yeah. But under it's a deep rooted competition. Like there's only so many men here, and I ain't willing to. You know what I mean? I ain't willing to lose out on the best because you out here too.
Which is so unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's wild.
I feel like, and I don't want to dive deep into it. I'm going to say that is something that may stem from not slavery, because I have a whole nother, we've talked about it. I have a whole nother ideology and a whole nother fact-based perception of slavery that other than what is being pushed to black people at the current time. However, I'm not going to go into that's another story. We may not even touch on that ever. See me or somewhere else. But I feel like in African American and Black American are dark times is what I'll call them. Because it
we was workers.
When we were hard workers.
When we were hard workers. When we came over here to work and we put our elbow grease and neck grease and everything into it.
I feel like
the great days.
Yeah, the great days. I feel like that divisiveness between women may have been subjected towards black women then.
You could be right.
I'm gonna
a lot of these social anomalies come from
are rooted in
that institutionalized bullshit back in slavery days.
Yeah.
It's not hard to trace it back. It really isn't.
I'm gonna be absent on this conversation because on that part
because
of
you
the
light skin.
Don't even get me started.
First of all, I keep saying we're all light skinned in this room, just different shades of light.
Hang the fuck on, fam.
50 shades
There's
of
only
light.
one dude here called Snow because of his goddamn color.
I could say I'm maybe yellow snow.
I'm damn near Wesley Snipes in this
Don't
motherfucker.
don't eat the yellow snow.
I go outside. I don't even use SPF, fam.
Son, you
Can't
better
get
put
no
that
darker.
fucking SPF on. Your ass would turn. You be red instead of dark.
Listen,
the snow.
this is all right. The conversation definitely.
Yeah, it's.
So our baseline here is anybody that would say this shit's nasty. We know that's coming from a toxic place.
Yeah, you're
And
toxic if you
Most
believe
times
it's nasty.
it's toxic.
And this is
or
referring
because
to
you don't
older
understand,
men.
and this is your your initial reaction is to question it and be nasty about the question about it.
It continues to infuriate me because I've been hyper aware of this for so long.
Yeah.
Right?
About
this very conversation.
Right.
And I've seen it in the church.
Oh.
Ain't nobody ever checked the temperature on an average between the age difference between pastors
It's running
and their
rampant.
wives.
Yes, it's running rampant in the church.
Right? So don't fucking come tell me Naquan down the block can't have a 23-year-old girlfriend. That's one.
For sure.
Two, like I said, is blatant disrespect for the intellect of the younger person and the
right.
And it's just like, stop assuming people mean harm. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that.
I would like to go back to the times where shut the fuck up.
And there's that.
Yeah, real
Mind
talk.
your business.
Real talk.
Because nobody's squirming when Arya is having sex on TV with the son of Robert Baratheon.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Because I came to the show and I watched it in a binge.
Yep.
When that came on, I didn't want to see that.
So that's just wild and inappropriate.
I didn't want to see that.
All of
because
it.
I couldn't tell what the age. I know that this was a little girl on this show.
Yeah.
I wasn't able. I mean, I saw her getting older throughout the show as I'm binging it.
Son.
But at the point was I couldn't tell what the timing was, so
Right.
I got uncomfortable. And
her sister?
If I'm not, same.
So
thing.
hold on.
Sansa?
And I almost didn't watch it.
I may have. What season was this?
I can't tell you.
Because I might have.
Excuse me,
been
some
doing
corona.
something at the.
What are you not
coronavirus?
caught up?
I am.
Son,
but
What season you at?
Doing, son?
I have watched up until season 5.
Oh, so then you're fine.
Son,
you're
keep
fine.
watching.
You already happened.
How this is 12 years after. How are you not finished this yet?
Okay, first of all.
Wait, time out. Didn't he get at me?
He did.
I didn't get at you.
He did.
I
son.
did not get at you. We was talking about that shit from the y'all want to go and do, or you want to go and do the fucking jousting and the knights and everybody speaking weird, and then
Son.
we was talking about it.
Medieval times is happening. People.
Yes, medieval.
But
times.
even where you're at right now, the shit Sansa is going through, she is not 18.
All right. So
You understand? That's all I'm gonna say.
all
And
right.
everybody loves Game of Thrones.
Listen.
I ain't see one fucking petition. What are you out here teaching these kids?
You know what they'll say?
My baby's heirs. I didn't see none of that shit.
You know what they probably say? Well, that's what it was back in those times.
All right, then. Because
That's
this
what they'll
bullshit
say.
about that's nasty is
But
only
you know-
like the last 50, 60 years thing.
But we don't
it's
get that
less
same.
than that because listen, yo,
We don't get that same credit, right?
in the 50s, in the early 20th century, 19th century, it was common for an older person to be with a younger person.
Sure.
All right. When we think of our great grandmothers had a lot of the kids that turned out that are several generations removed, they got pregnant at 16.
Sure.
At 15.
Sure.
It's in many cases at 14.
Son,
13.
for the entirety of fucking humanity, once a woman gets her period, she's having kids.
Once you start throwing up blood, people were.
I'm sorry, let me
moving
rephrase
on
that. Once a girl or
Yes,
once a female
Once
gets
a female
once
girl.
a girl.
gets
Once a
their
girl.
period, they are now a woman.
Yeah.
And that's what they were riding. That's what they was riding with.
And
Except all of a sudden now, because parents, the same parents who are pushing 5-year-olds in strollers, are like, oh, my 18-year-old can't make a decision for herself.
Of course you can't.
Go fuck yourself.
Of course your 18-year-old is.
So,
Meanwhile, in every other country, this is still the norm, but they're getting ahead.
right. And let's be clear. A Jewish family.
Whoa.
I don't know much about this conversation.
Nope.
I'm going to stick to Solange. I don't know where he's going with this.
Allow
Nope.
me to, because I
Solange
am
is trash.
informed.
No, fam.
I am
No,
informed.
fam.
I am informed.
They do have a different culture.
And respectfully,
No one challenges them.
in the Jewish culture, in the Israelite culture,
Mhm.
or Hebrew culture,
Sure.
it is customary for that child, that boy, young boy at a young age,
Yep.
he becomes a man at 13, 14 years old and can take on a wife equally, if not younger.
Okay, that's clear. That sounds
All
clear.
right. That is what I was going to say.
I mean,
so,
son,
It's a little cleaner.
I was just watching a
But Jay-Z
documentary
gave
on.
them a compliment and they still came for his neck too. That's what I'm saying.
I was just watching.
because Jay-Z is uninformed, and let me be clear. And I have had it up to here with Jay-Z and his buffoonery, but that's another topic.
you know.
No, son.
Don't
Jay-Z's gonna get
Don't
this
bite.
work, B.
Not
You-
today.
you-
Not today.
Jay-Z, he's not gonna get it today, but rest assured.
Let me proceed.
In this podcast, Jay-Z, one of these podcasts, Jay-Z. Listen, and let's be clear. I fucks with Jay-Z heavy.
I think you're a hater.
I fucks with Jay-Z heavy. I am a hater when you are misinformed. And Jay-Z is misinformed about a great many things.
The only thing Jay-Z was misinformed about is that Biggie was the greatest. Because Biggie was trash. Other than that,
Fam, how do you sleep at night, sir?
I sleep good as a motherfucker, baby.
Son,
You're gonna have to get the dogs.
we
You got to get the infrared.
we
Call the coroner.
we not a political podcast yet.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
But-
at all.
At all.
I'm capping the conversation. I want to know what the viewers think. Hit us on the Twitter.
Yeah, for sure.
Hit us on the,
Yeah, we
look in the show notes. You'll find how to
definitely
contact
ran an
us.
hour on this.
Yes, it
This
was
one-
It was quite lengthy.
This wasn't even supposed to be the episode. So.
No,
yeah,
it's
it
not.
definitely wasn't supposed to be the episode.
So thank ignorant folks for what just happened.
Yeah,
Thank you, ignorant
son.
motherfuckers.
You're welcome, man. Check us in the mail. Prices on the can.
Ignorant people make for good content.
Prices on the can.
My name is Ramon.
I'm Kicks God.
I'm your boy Snow.
I'm out of here.
Peace.
We out.